Hey everyone! As a clinical psychologist, I am absolutely thrilled to dive into this explainer with you today. We're going to be looking at a truly groundbreaking integration of spirituality and clinical psychology, specifically designed to address the unique mental health challenges you face on campus. I see so many of you dealing with just immense academic and social pressures. So today, we're exploring a scientifically validated 10-session framework that bridges the gap between deep-rooted spiritual faith and modern cognitive behavioral therapy. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start by defining well-being, then explore what religious CBT actually is, walk step by step through the 10-session program, check out the scientific evidence and statistics, and finally wrap up with some daily practices for your mental health.
Part 1. Defining well-being, beyond just feeling good.
To start things off, we really need to define what we're trying to achieve when we talk about a student's mental health. It's super easy to just say we want to feel better, right? But clinically, we need to be a lot more precise. True healing requires balancing both our emotional happiness and our cognitive well-being. Think of it like this. Happiness is that immediate emotional joy. You're maximizing the good feelings and minimizing the bad. But psychological well-being, that's your cognitive, informed assessment of your life. It's the deeper, structural foundation of how you view your satisfaction and positive functioning in the world, even when those midterms are seriously stressing you out.
This is where the Rife model comes in. Introduced back in the 90s, it brilliantly breaks down positive mental health into these 6 totally actionable factors. It gives us a real clinical roadmap for therapy. See, we aren't just trying to patch up sadness, we're actively trying to build up your self-acceptance, your autonomy, and your profound purpose in life. Moving right along to part 2. What is religious CBT? The clinical spiritual bridge.
Let's see how that definition of well-being builds into our primary intervention model, religious cognitive behavioral therapy, or RCBT. Now, religious CBT doesn't replace traditional clinical techniques like the famous ABC Ellis model, not at all. Instead, it literally supercharges your cognitive reframing by giving you a spiritual language for your healing. For example, where traditional CBT uses rational thought to fight anxiety, religious CBT might pull from texts like Proverbs 12:25, emphasizing the transformative power of compassionate speech, or davar tov, the good word. It takes the highly effective mechanics of cognitive restructuring and wraps them right into the deeply resonant, supportive context of your faith and community.
Which brings us to part 3, the 10-session program, a journey to wholeness. I constantly hear university students ask exactly how this therapy works in practice. It sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like? Well, over 10 90-minute sessions, patients take a structured, progressive journey. It starts off with setting clear goals in week 1, moves deep into cognitive restructuring, transitions into bodily and spiritual relaxation, and finishes by cementing a powerful sense of trust in a higher power. It's a complete, holistic overhaul of how you process stress. Weeks 2 through 5 are absolutely crucial here. We actively merge psychological cognitive restructuring with profound spiritual teachings to really target the root of anxiety. We look at Beck's dysfunctional beliefs, those automatic negative thoughts telling you you're going to fail your degree, and we confront them head on. But instead of just swapping them out for a generic positive affirmation, we replace them with deeply held spiritual truths, like empowering Quranic verses or biblical wisdom. We're anchoring your new mindset in something far greater than yourself. By the time we hit the later sessions, the focus completely shifts to physical and spiritual calming. It's living proof that the body and soul heal together. We practice progressive muscle relaxation and deep breathing, but we pair it directly with the remembrance of God, reciting scripture and mental visualization. It's all about creating this safe, serene mental environment where your physical anxiety simply cannot survive. Now for my favorite part, part 4, scientific evidence and statistics, the proof. As a clinical psychologist, I rely on empirical data. I need to know this actually works for you out in the real world. So let's look at a rigorous university study that validated this exact 10-session program. This incredible number right here, p less than 0.001. That represents the statistical significance, showing that students receiving religious CBT experienced vast, undeniable improvements compared to the control group. In the world of clinical research, a p-value of less than 0.001 is an absolute home run. It means there is less than a 1 in 1,000 chance that these amazing results happen by accident. And the real-world impact is profound. This single 10-session intervention accounts for a massive 39% of the positive changes in a student's cognitive well-being. Just think about everything going on in your life right now. Your diet, your sleep schedule, your friendships, that massive workload. For just 10 therapy sessions to account for 39% of your total psychological well-being, that is absolutely staggering. And it gets better. We also see a massive 34% variance in actual happiness levels driven directly by combining faith with cognitive behavioral techniques. It proves that by addressing both the rational mind and the spiritual heart, we're moving way beyond just treating injuries. We are actively optimizing your overall quality of life. Let's really digest this finding, drawn right from the research. Turning over uncontrollable academic and social pressures to a higher power actively reduces clinical anxiety. As a student, your environment is highly unpredictable. Exams, job prospects, relationships, the whole shebang. Recognizing that you literally don't have to carry the weight of the universe on your own shoulders offers a profound cognitive relief, which brings us to part 5, daily practices for mental health, taking it home. Because healing doesn't just happen in the therapist's office, right? It happens in your dorm room, in the library, and in your daily routines. This is always the most common question my university patients ask after seeing the data. They want to know how to keep that momentum going when they're facing a midnight deadline and the anxiety starts creeping back in. Well, by adopting just a few of these practices, like daily gratitude and restorative prayer, you're actively performing cognitive maintenance on your own mind. Scriptural meditation, for instance, has been scientifically linked to lowering cortisol levels. When racing thoughts attack, you replace them with memorized texts. You use prayer not just as a ritual, but as a genuine therapeutic dialogue to unload your emotional burdens. This journey of spiritual formation is incredibly powerful. The theologian Henri Nouwen described it perfectly as moving knowledge from just rational thought all the way down into the heart. It's one thing to cognitively know you're safe. It is a completely different thing to feel that profound heart-level peace. Restorative prayer bridges that gap, leading directly to a state of personal shalom or wholeness. So I gotta ask, and I'll leave you with this thought to reflect on. Which of your daily anxious thoughts could be completely reframed through the lens of faith today? Take a look at your heaviest burden right now. How does the narrative change when you apply both the proven cognitive tools of CBT and the boundless hope of your spiritual beliefs? I sincerely hope you take these tools and use them to build a healthier, more meaningful, and resilient student life. Thank you so much for exploring this with me today.